Nancy Pelosi wants to extend her 30-year run as a politician, and what has she done not to deserve it? Nothing is the answer. What? Oh God, you're not going to like this. Hello there, you 4.8 million glorious, shimmering souls awakening to the moment right now, changing, letting go of doubt and breathing in new freedom. Let's have a look what's going on in American politics. Nancy Pelosi's made a kind of a video for re-election, apparently from the set of Mrs. Doubtfire, to see what she's been up to.
Hello, it's Nancy.
I was wondering.
Thank you for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you.
What thoughts I would like is, could you tell me what to invest my money in? Because you seem to have a good steer on that stuff.
Our volunteers in politics.
Volunteers in politics also stands for VIP, perhaps a more recognisable, significant and telling acronym.
Thank you for being a constant source of new, fresh ideas and political activism to help Democrats deliver and to defend democracy.
And also to make a tiny little profit with insider trading. Let's just go back into that for a moment. Members of Congress tend to be far wealthier than the general population. What a coincidence. And it's common practice for many of them to own and trade chunks of the very economy they're tasked with managing and overseeing. That's mental, isn't it? You can't be regulating something, then profiting from the type of regulation it receives. Can you? Yes. At just over $46 million in net worth, Pelosi is herself among the richest members of Congress. When someone's that rich and they're involved in sort of doing the regulating and everything, that's the first thing I want to hear about. I don't want to hear any I really value your opinions and your thoughts, and if you're sitting over there, that's where Mrs. Doubtfire lived. I'm not interested. Ranked 15th overall, thanks in part to her husband's holdings in the likes of Slack, Tesla, Disney, Visa, Salesforce, PayPal, Alphabet, Facebook and Netflix, all of them major corporations that spend untold millions every year to lobby the government. I see how this works. It's a circle of life.
Thank you for giving me the privilege to represent our city and our San Francisco values in the Congress. Human rights, reproductive justice, LGBTQ equality, respect for immigrants, and care for each other.
Or alternatively, Slack, Tesla, Disney, Visa, Salesforce, PayPal, Alphabet, Facebook. That's politics in a microcosm there. Up front, we're helping vulnerable people. We care about vulnerable people. Out back, we're making a fucking fortune. It's a circle of life.
When people ask me what are the three most important issues facing the Congress, I always say the same thing.
Tesla, Disney, Salesforce, PayPal, Alphabet. Let's see though.
Our children, our children, our children.
And when I say our children, I mean our investment portfolio in billion-dollar companies that I regulate.
That is my why I am in Congress. For the children.
Like my beautiful children. Apple, Tesla, Salesforce, Disney. Oh, I think Slack's gonna say its first words. Mummy's corrupt! Shut up, Slack!
Their health, their education, the housing and economic security of their families.
Come on, you're not gonna have time for all the LGBTQ plus immigrants, children. End the insider trading then. You give you more time and focus on your many, many children. There are many documented cases of federal lawmakers trading stocks in industries they oversee while holding important committee assignments. Several US senators infamously offload a smorgasbord of stock following a classified briefing about the potential economic impact of the coronavirus. And instances like these are almost certainly just the tip of the iceberg. Considering the overbearing influence of money on America's government and both of its major political parties, nothing about the current rules is even remotely shocking. The campaign finance system, to take an obvious example, is essentially legalized corruption. We got to do something about corruption. It's bad. Could we legalize it? No. Yes, legalize it. Retired politicians and staffers regularly cash in on their time in office, settling into plum corporate gigs and leveraging the personal networks they've built while ostensibly public servants for individual gain. Against such a backdrop, the practice of allowing sitting lawmakers to own and trade stocks seems no less outrageous, but becomes decidedly less shocking. Much of the corrupt behaviour that occurs regularly in Washington is in effect perfectly legal and out in the open, so much so that it can even elicit spirited defences from the country's most powerful elected officials. So sometimes you have things that sort of seem wrong, but they're actually legal. And with what are we supposed to do with this intuitive feeling that people in power shouldn't be profiting from regulation they make? That if you're in a position of power like that, that you have to abide by certain codes and rules. You know, like at a time where ethics and morals are sort of promoted to the forefront, where like sort of small indiscretions, or, you know, and large ones obviously, can lead to complete downfall. Doesn't it seem like a weird warping of perspective that people are being sort of like punished and cancelled and controlled and condemned for things that may or may not be wrong, you know, are wrong, whatever. But this also should be subject to scrutiny and penalty and control.
And that is why I am running for re-election to Congress and respectfully seek your support.
So that's Pelosi in particular. Let's look more specifically at the Democratic Party and their credentials for re-election. And one good way of evaluating that would be to look at what they promised last time they were campaigning for election and what they've done since being elected. Presidents have enormous unilateral power if they choose to use it. Biden doesn't need Congress to cancel student debt. As a candidate, he called for a forgiveness of a minimum of $10,000 per person, or make marijuana effectively legal. Biden's lack of action has frustrated even some Republicans, or forced drug companies to lower prices, an issue Democrats have purportedly supported for 30 years. Biden has done none of these things. I don't get any pleasure. I get a bit of pleasure from saying, you know, I told you so, like that, because I watched the videos, remember the arms around America, the dancing around. Like, the reason I don't engage in that kind of behaviour anymore is because I've been awakened from the reality. I've got no allegiance to either or any political party. That's not to say that there aren't good, well-intentioned, lovely people, you know, in every single profession. But institutionally, systematically, you can see that this is wrong. And I find it a little galling to watch Nancy Pelosi peddle puff pieces like this when in reality, you know what the priorities are. So why are we being invited to participate in this? And why are we not changing democracy to be a reflection of what we all feel? 80% of people want drug prices controlled. Joe Biden said he was going to do it. Why isn't it happening? That's a rhetorical question, and you know the answer, because the drug companies lobby and they prevent that from happening, and these lot are all complicit in it. So, right, again, what's the point of getting so excited about these people or trusting them? Minimum wage. There should be a national minimum wage of $15 an hour, Biden said in his first address to Congress in April. Instead, they're leaving the minimum wage at $7.25, about the same level in real terms as during the 1950s. Well, there you go. You know, whether you agree with minimum wage or not, and I do, like, I feel like, well, why would you not improve that? And if you're not going to improve it, then, all right, well, you lied. Bernie Sanders called for the Democrats to make a major course correction that focuses on fighting for America's working class and standing up to powerful corporate interests. It's no great secret that the Republican Party is winning more and more support from working people, Sanders said. It's not because the Republican Party has anything to say to them, it's because in too many ways the Democratic Party has turned its back on the working class. It's important that we have the guts to take on the very powerful corporate interests that have an unbelievably powerful hold on the economy of this country. There you go. There is a politician that's saying stuff like that, and he's sort of regarded like some ghost out of a Dickens story, or one of them blokes in the gallery in the Muppets. Shut up there! Except it's him that's getting heckled. Shut up! We're doing politics down here. What about the corporate stranglehold? Shut up! The truth of the matter is people are going to work and half of them are living paycheck to paycheck, Sanders said. People are struggling with healthcare and prescription drugs. Young families can't afford childcare. Older workers are worried to death about retirement. He's actually on the nose, isn't he? That's 80% of Americans want that stuff, but across parties, by the way. And there he is saying it. So if what you cared about was ordinary people, you'd be going, oh, tell us more of this stuff, Bernie Sanders. Well, yeah, no, we'll do that then. Why don't you do it? Because you start trying to do it. All right, let's try and do it. Hello, it's Pfizer. He said many working class Americans have grown disaffected with the political system because nothing changes for them. Or if it does, it's usually for the worse. But let's see what Nancy Pelosi's got to say.
As you hear me say, when you're in the arena, you have to be able to take a punch or throw a punch for the children.
What kind of fight is this? Right, we're in the arena. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to take a punch or throw a punch. Who's it for? The children. Get them out of here. This is dangerous.
A clean, safe environment in which they can thrive, and a world at peace and where they are all welcome.
When I say everybody, I mean everybody except for working class Americans, children, old people, and young families. But other than that, we're all in.
Creating good-paying green union jobs, affordable housing, clean energy, infrastructure.
Just listing things now.
Transportation justice and education.
These things she's saying sound like they're being poured from over here and just sort of gushing through her face. Like there doesn't seem to be any integrity. That's the word, isn't it? Integrity, that everything's interlocked and connected. And there can't be integrity. There has to be a kind of vacancy. You have to turn yourself into a kind of a cipher, a portal, because if your real interests include and aren't even limited to profiting from the companies that you regulate, then how can you ever sit in front of a camera going, right, listen, children, I care about them, I'll throw a punch, I'll kick a punch. You know, how can you say anything? Because it doesn't make sense. Nothing stacks up, does it? Because in the back of your mind, you must be thinking like PayPal, Netflix, Facebook, Apple. It must be constantly running through your mind like an Edgar Allan Poe story, tick-tocking away in your brain while you're trying to say children's schools, green jobs, union. You must be thinking, I'm getting rich, stinking rich. Is that right that I'm doing this? What must the inner monologue be like? I hope it's better than the outer monologue, which is a bit phatic and boring.
We are grateful to our men, women in uniform, veterans and military families, and honor their sacrifice with our insistence on securing voting rights and end to big dark money in politics.
Tesla, Disney, Visa, Salesforce, PayPal, Alphabet, Facebook, Netflix.
While we've made progress, much more needs to be done to improve people's lives.
You haven't made progress. You haven't done the things that you would say you would do. You can't vote for that person again. These people are addicted to money and power. They're in a mad sort of shared psychosis. Collectively, it's our duty, not even out of self-preservation, but just for them. For them. Won't someone please think of the children?
Our democracy is at risk because of assaults on the truth, the assault on the U.S. Capitol, and the state-by-state assault on voting rights.
Oh, God, man. Party politics, I don't like it because it just turns into stuff that's coating off the other team, isn't it? Unless they're saying stuff that's fundamentally going to alter the systems and processes by which power is assigned, designated, allocated, and how it would affect your own life. How would it affect your own life? That's the stuff to think about. Don't let them siphon you off into little teams of, oh, I like them because they like this and I feel this about this. They'll navigate you towards all the hot button topics like guns and pro-life and pro-choice, all places where you can't think straight because there's so much emotion involved. And then you forget that what they're doing, they don't care about that. Yeah, well, we'll keep guns. Right, there's a big load of, we won't allow people to get termination. Right, quick, keep all the money, keep all the money. The money! The money!
This election is crucial. Nothing less is at stake than our democracy.
The democracy's long gone, mate. There ain't no democracy to preserve and save when while you're in there, you're engaging in the insider trading and not fulfilling the promises upon which you were elected. What democracy? What democracy?
But as we say, we don't agonize, we organize.
I don't think you do either of those things. You don't agonise because you're stinking rich, and when you do organise, it's to get more money.
I would be greatly honored by it and grateful for it. Thank you so much.
I mean, I'm sure she's a nice person as a grandma or whatever, or a person, a human being. But, like, this isn't what we need. How can you sort of even muster up the courage, even if you can vote online now? I don't think I could be bothered to fill my name in. How can you be bothered to participate in this stuff with so little at stake when the world could be so beautiful? When it is possible. All the rhetoric they use, the reason they use it is they know it has an impact. And the reason it has an impact is because it's real. It's true. You can change society. Here's what you have to do. You have to be willing to let go of some of your deep-held prejudices and personal feelings. You have to be willing to start de-schooling and decoding your own mind. Where did I get that belief? Why do I think that? What happened to me? Am I expressing something emotionally here, or am I being rational? Can I access deep spiritual truths and be willing to change myself and participate meaningfully in a democracy? Do I understand that power costs sacrifice, that change is difficult? Am I willing to go on that journey? Because if you are, then I'll come on it with you, because individually, none of us have got anything. We're all worthless. We're all just shouting into our own individual echo chambers and engaging in PR exercises like this when we know deep down in our heartiest of hearts that what'll happen is they'll make a load of re-election premises, they'll use dumb little phrases that are evocative and appealing, they'll send little coded messages to the groups that recognise what certain phrases mean, and they'll carry on doing what they've always done. Unless the system itself changes, let's just start with end lobbying, end insider trading, make drug pricing regulated, just those three things. I've not even been listening in my job. That would mean something, but that's just what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below what you feel. Can democracy be rescued? Do we need an entirely different system of government, some decentralised form? Are the agencies of government and the institutions within power so far corrupt that they can never be salvaged and saved? What do you feel would be the solution? All of this and more I want from you. Let me know in the comments below. Give us a like and subscribe to my channel. I'm chasing that 5 million like Nancy's husband after a new Facebook share. And if you enjoyed this video, have a look at this little guy, saucy little thing. And please watch this one as well. Sign up to my Awakening Side channel if you got time, please join my mailing list. I can tell you what I'm up to. For example, in March, April and May, I'm in massive venues all over the UK doing live shows. Come see me, be with me. We can sharing this truth together. Stay free.